What up, everybody? It's your girl July from Kickback Couture. Today I'm going to master a beat in Ozone 9. It came out yesterday, and I'm gonna start in Ableton, and then I'm halfway through. I'm gonna jump into Reason 11. So after I master this one, I'm gonna master a beat in Reason 11, and these are just for the purpose of I just want to upload them to Spotify. So I'm gonna do it from that standpoint, not together, separate releases. So they have nothing to do with each other. I'm just gonna show how I would use it twice. I know someone's gonna ask me how to do it in Reason, so just gonna cover both because it's gonna be the same, but I just know someone's gonna ask, but whatever. Alright, so first thing I wanna do is add an exciter, and I turned everything off, and I've already added some things here. So first, just add an exciter by, clicking on the plus sign. I'm gonna turn this on. Actually, let me go to a part in the beat where it's pretty loud. Alright. This is in stereo. I want to do mid-side instead of stereo. Now, in order to use these other bands, I need to create more zones. So I'm going to create one at about 300 and one about, let's say, about 2.5K. where the vocal range is, and then another one up here. And let's go ahead and start to excite some things. We have different types of excitement. I love tube, so let's see what this sounds like. Loop a different area. This area is better. Alright, cool. I like how this is sounding, and you don't have to do a lot. Obviously, if you do, then you'll start getting weird effects, weird sounds. So alright, now I'm going to add an imager, and in my imager, same thing, I'm going to create a band here. I want to do about 300 hertz, and basically I want to pull this bottom, these low frequencies mono, and I want to keep this one the same. So this is going to be everything above. So never want to do this to your bass. So here I can solo it and see what's going on. It's mono. That's what I want. Now this is what we don't want. You never want to have your low frequency going crazy like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And honestly, that sounds fine to me. So I'm going to leave that be and move on, add some vintage tape. See, here we can change our speeds. So 7.5, 15, and 30. cool. I'm gonna add a compressor now, and I would prefer to do mid-side compression, so I'm gonna switch to mid-side compression. And I said I wanted to do mid-side with the exciter, and I forgot to switch to the mid, so I'm gonna go back to that for a second. Let's turn these off. Just gonna add some. Since this is the side, I'm actually going to do some more and switch. I forgot I said I was gonna do mid-side. Funny times, funny times. Alright, cool. Let's get this imager back on. And the tape. And we're gonna hop back into the compressor. This is the middle. I want about 3 decibels of compression here, and I'm gonna turn the ratio up to about 2. So balance is good for the mode. Attack is good. If I do a fast attack, then my drum transients will disappear. Whereas if it's high, I'm gonna put my attack on about 20 milliseconds. With a fast release, I don't want my attack time too fast because it'll start to interfere with the transients. So I'm gonna leave that be. And then same for the side, gonna switch over. And I actually want to pull this threshold down now. And I could turn this up, so I'm gonna solo this for a second. This was going on the side. I could turn up the side information. Sorry about your ears. Not trying to compress the sides too much, just add a little bit of color from Izotope Ozone 9. The last thing I would do is add this maximizer, and let's set my ceiling to 0.01. And we'll pull down the threshold as needed. So off top, I'm not liking how loud it made my snare, so we're gonna have to change a few things. Now, what I want to pay attention to are these meters, and I actually don't want them to say any of these. I want to go to, let's see, type. Let's do integrated loudness, short-term loudness. I'm gonna go with short-term loudness, actually. And yeah, let's see this one. And it's an LUFS, which is perfect. So Spotify standards are about -14 LUFS. Well, exactly -14 LUFS. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. And as far as what I'm peaking in short term, this is one of the loudest parts of the beat. Aside from, I think, this part. Nope, it must be this part. So I'm already actually pretty close. so I didn't need much compression. Limiting. And keep in mind, I did compress at the right before this maximizer. So in this case, I am good. In the future, I will definitely make sure that I mix a bit quieter going into this master. But otherwise, this is set. Our LUFS is 14, and we're good to go. So now I'm gonna hop into Reason 11. Save that. And actually, before I go into Reason 11, let's do a before and after. No ozone. With ozone, you see it added some color, brightened it up, some excitement, some vintage tube feeling going on in there, and it's awesome. Alright, Reason 11. I'm now in Reason 11, and I have another sample style beat going here. So I'm going to clear these. I actually want to turn this off. I want to start with, I'm going to use the same signal chain I used in Ableton. So as for this, let's go with a exciter, then an imager, then I had a vintage compressor, and then I had my maximizer at the end of the chain. I believe that was everything. Vintage tape. I forgot vintage tape. Gonna add that here. Alright, these are off. Now let's start from the exciter. See what we get. This is without it, without anything. Alright, gonna add this exciter. Wanna do mid to side again. Again, I like the tube sound. And this is the middle. I'm just gonna keep this as one band this time. And the side, I'll add more bands. Shouldn't have much going on down here once I add the imager, so not really gonna pay attention to below 300 hertz. Tube, because I love tubes. Throw on this imager. Actually, before we do that, we can solo the middle, side. Imager. Again, about 300 hertz. I'm gonna pull this mono. Nothing crazy out of phase there, so I'm good to go. This is before the limiter. This is after. You'll hear that more in the low end. Now let's add the vintage tape, and I'm gonna keep this on 30. Let's add some harmonics. Whoops. All right. Alright, vintage compressor. Again, I love mid to side compression, so that is what I'm gonna do. Gonna solo these mids. These release times are fine. Gonna slow down, speed up the release. The attack is fine. liking that. Now let's switch to the side and solo it. Bring this down even more. Cool, this is gonna be without the compressor. Alright, now I'm gonna add this maximizer. LUFS. Got some extra room in this beat. Let's go ahead and set this to 0.1. So we are good here, got a good sound. So let's go ahead and bypass this, see what it sounds like without Ozone, and then we'll go ahead and put it back on. So this is without it. With it. And we seem to be clipping, which doesn't make much sense because there's nothing on after this. Screenshot. There's nothing on after this. Let's try turning down the ceiling just a little bit. Still clipping in every meter, regardless of there being a maximizer at the end of the chain. Honestly, I think it's like an issue with Reason and Izotope Ozone things, specifically VSTs. So we're going to just add another limiter at the end of this chain that isn't Izotope, or maybe the vintage limiter at the end of the chain, and see if that helps. Alright, so let's go ahead and add the vintage limiter at the end of this chain and bring the true peak down to 0.1 decibels. Still clipping. Yeah. Definitely an issue going with Reason. So I'm going to leave this how it is and just add a limiter on afterwards. Going to go with in effects and built-in devices, maximizer, turn the limiter off, and just turn on soft clip. That did not work either. Let's try Fab Filter here. Alright, L2. Gonna bring this out down. And I am still clipping regardless of, okay, this didn't go through or what? So I think there are some issues with using this in Reason. I don't think this has anything to do with Izotope at all, because it did just clearly work in Ableton. I had similar issues using Neutron in Reason a few seasons ago. So let me know what you would like to see next. It's all Couture, Kickback, and Cook Up. I'm gonna mess with this for a little bit, but feel free to watch another video.